Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today I am testing out more Kmart art supplies. I've made this a little bit of a trend on my channel lately. I am just very interested in seeing what kind of affordable art supplies you can get from Kmart. So this is a set of gouache paints here that I got from Kmart, and as you can see, the white is actually larger than the rest of the colors. I actually really like that because sometimes you go through a lot of white compared to the other colors. Now there's a little bit of like stuff on the outside of this tube here, but I think it might just be a little bit of binder or something that perhaps leaked out during the manufacturing process. The tube itself looks nice and sealed. So here is these little gouache paints. So the white is a 21 mil, and then the rest of the colors are 12 mil tubes. And I just think that this was really neat that they included a larger white. It means that they actually thought about it when they were designing this set. Now, as usual with wet media, I am going to be using some watercolor paper here, and I trimmed off a little strip from an A4 piece, and this is the piece that I'm going to be doing my swatches on. So I've just got this little palette here. It's a little airtight palette, and I've added in my colors, as you can see in the little wells, and it looks pretty cute, but let's see how these colors look on the paper. From what I can see, these colors do look pretty nice. They feel quite gouache, as you would expect from gouache. And I actually really like the way that they look when they're diluted as well. I just feel like the colors are nice and smooth, but still have a little bit of texture in there, which I actually like, especially with my cold press watercolor paper. Sometimes I like my colors to have a little bit of texture in there, and sometimes I like to have them nice and smooth. So here I'm just doing a few little tests on the rest of my swatch sheet. I'm just mixing a small amount of paint into some water that was already laid down on the paper. And I'm just seeing how these paints spread and do like a little wet on wet technique. Next, I am mixing a purple here because I want to see how these paints mix with colors. And like this set didn't actually come with a purple, and personally, I find purple sometimes hard to mix, especially if you don't have the correct colors like a magenta. So I think overall it turned out pretty nice, as you can see here. Now I'm just doing a little bit of a layering test, as you can see, with some little stripes, and I'm layering a red over the top of a dark purple and also some yellow over the top of the purple as well, just to see how these paints layer on top of each other when they are diluted with water. Next, I'm just doing a little test here to see how well I can reactivate the paint and perhaps remove mistakes just with a little bit of water and a little bit of light scrubbing with my paintbrush. And overall, these paints don't look that bad. Now let's see how they work in a little painting. Of course, we are going to be painting. But first, before we are painting, we are sketching. And I have decided I wanted to draw some really cute little items here on my page. So I have decided to draw an adorable little dress here, and I actually got inspiration from some clothes that I actually recently bought myself because I'm so original. I just really like the aesthetic of these clothes that I recently bought for myself, and I was excited about them, so I wanted to do a little painting of them. So here we have two dresses, and we have like a sort of corset-y style belt, as well as some little boots as well. And I really like the style of this because it's very cottagecore, it's very cute and dainty, and overall I just really like the style. Now I'm just lightening up this sketch here a little bit so that I can go in after and do a little bit of line art. And I've decided to use my colored pencils for line art this time because I just prefer colored pencils for line art. I just find that they are so fun, and they add this sort of like soft look to them with a bit of a storybook vibe, and I really enjoy that. So these pencils are actually Prismacolor Premiers, and yes, they are good quality pencils. Even though I'm doing a sort of cheap art supply challenge, but it's more of just a test of these paints, and I want to see how well they will go with the other art supplies that I have here. So now we are beginning the painting section, and I wanted to do a little like pink gingham pattern on this dress here because that's the pattern of the dress that I got. So I don't know, I just really love gingham. I just think that it is such a cute pattern. It's a classic and it really has a sort of cottagecore feel to it, which I really love. The next dress is actually a green dress. Now I don't often buy green clothes for myself, but I just saw this one and I thought it was so adorable and I had to get it. It's a sort of light, sort of soft minty green, and it's got a little bit of a pattern over the top, and I'll explain that later. But anyways, the little corsety belt, it's a sort of corset style, it's not an actual corset, and the boots themselves are a soft brown color, which I think goes really cutely with these dresses and really pushes the sort of cottagecore old sort of theme to it. And now I'm adding in some more details to that gingham dress to get that nice stripy pattern. So when I do gingham, I usually paint very thin lines going in one direction, and I usually try to follow the folds of the fabric and don't make them like really straight or anything, because I find that that just looks unnatural. And then I have to wait completely for those to dry so that I can layer some paint over the top in the opposite direction. Now if your paints layer well, you will get a nice sort of like a darker part on where the lines intersect with each other, and as you can actually see, it worked with this one and I really liked that. Actually better than the Kmart ink. If you watched my previous Kmart ink video, the reds actually sort of reactivated too much, and then I had to sort of layer on some more red to get that sort of like overlapping sort of pattern. So with the green dress, the patterns that are all over it are actually little butterflies, and I just think that that is super cute, and it gives it almost like a fairy kind of style aesthetic to it, and I think that it's just really cute and naturey. And I just layered some like soft colors over the green, and because these paints, when you layer them thicker, they are more opaque than watercolors, it actually worked out quite well, as you can see here. Now I did outline the butterflies in black, and I feel like maybe I should have done that in pencil or something because it was a little bit rough, but overall with the style I still think that it works out. Once I got some dimension onto these dresses, as you can see, there are subtle shadows and folds in the fabric. I decided to go over and just refine that line art a little bit more to make it more solid looking, and just add some little details that may have been lost in the painting process. After this, I want to add in some little more details here. Now these are sort of background elements, if you can count them as that. I just wanted to do some little plants in just the spaces that were a little bit empty, and I used a green and a sort of purplish red color, and I diluted them quite a bit so that they didn't detract too much from the other items on the page. And I think that they suit really nicely because the colors sort of match the dresses. So anyways, here is the results from this little painting. It's just something cute and sweet, and honestly these paints aren't too bad. My first impressions, they are pretty good. The colors are nice and vibrant. They're not super vibrant, of course, because you kind of have to factor in the price point. These paints were only $5 at Kmart, and honestly I think that is a fantastic price, and these are a pretty good starting point for someone who may want to get into painting while not spending too much money, because not everyone can afford it, and I think everyone deserves a go at you know, creating an art and stuff if they so choose. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit that like and subscribe button and comment below what you think of my art, and I'll give your comment a little heart as well. Hope you're all having a lovely day. Please stay safe and take care, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye everyone.